Hi, I'm Kath from KathleenRobb.com. And today I really wanted to talk with you about whether naturopathic philosophy was aligned with you because it may help you decide whether you feel comfortable seeing a naturopath. So there's a lot of, I think, misinformation about what naturopathy is about. And I think it can be a little bit off putting. In fact, when I see some of the misinformation, I'm off put about what they're talking about. And I really wanted to clear some of it up, what we as clinically trained naturopaths are all about and what we're here to do and the way that we approach taking care of our clients and their health concerns. So there are some principles of practice that us clinical naturopaths abide by, and that's what I'd like to share with you today because it may help you get a sense of how we operate. So the first principle of naturopathy is first, do no harm. Now, obviously, no health professional wants to do any harm. It's a bit of a no-brainer. But what that means for us as a naturopath is when we talk with you or when I talk with you and think about your concerns and how to best approach your health, I'm also thinking if I prescribe something to you, how's that interacting with what you're already taking? So I will be doing an interaction check, make sure that it can't interfere with your medications. And I will also be looking at, some of the tools that we use as naturopathy can have some risks, just like with pharmaceuticals. Probably less risks, I think most would agree, but there are some risks. So if they are established, I will discuss that with you so that you know that what you're taking and what the pluses and minuses are and any side effects that you may need to look out for. I'll also think about not just the physical harm, but I'll think about as well you as a whole person. So, for example, I will try to approach things in our consultation in a way that's not traumatizing to you, triggering of too much stress, because I know it can be quite stressful discussing health and going over test results and talking about things that happened in the past. So, in my attempt to do no harm to you, I'll be trying my best to be mindful of the stress that you might bring into your appointment and be a safe, non-judgmental space for you and not ask you questions that aren't informing my treatment plan for you. So I'm not going to overly pry into things that don't affect how I will treat you. So I'd like to create a safe space for you emotionally. I'd like to make sure anything I'm prescribing is as safe as possible. And also thinking about things like financial harm, because unfortunately, certainly here in Australia, natural supplements aren't subsidised by the government, and naturopathy treatment is not covered by health insurance. So I will be talking to you about your budget and how that affects you and what you can and can't afford in terms of your treatment. And as far as I can, I will do my best to treat you in a way that fits within what is possible for you financially. So there's many ways that I will attempt to not harm you in the appointment. Second, which may be a bit of a no-brainer for those when we think of natural medicine, is we follow the principle of the healing power of nature. Now, of course, this refers to the natural nutrients that we require, so vitamins and minerals, diet, having a natural diet, living in a more natural way, taking chemicals out of the environment, etc. So we're looking at a natural lifestyle, natural diet, natural supplementation to support your health, but also looking at the nature of our bodies. Our bodies are designed to come into balance. It's a term called homeostasis. So when things become out of balance in our body is trying to return to that balance, and that is in fact the healing power of nature. our nature wants to heal. So as naturopaths, we try our best to look at where things might be out of balance and support that return to balance for the body. We're not trying to override and suppress symptoms so much, but rather trying to help the body course correct and support its own ability to do that. Another naturopathic principle is to find and treat the cause where possible, not just the symptoms. So, of course, when people are not feeling well or they have pain or distress of some kind, of course, we want to give them symptomatic support through that time. But as a naturopath, I'm always very, very interested in what are all the drivers regarding this. So I'm not just looking at green allopathy or a natural way to suppress the symptoms that you're experiencing. I'm doing my best to think of the whole biochemistry of you and your body and your health, and think about where has this gone wrong, and is there a nutritional deficit that is contributing to this, or is there an upstream issue that maybe isn't quite so directly symptomatic but that is actually driving these downstream symptoms. So I'm looking at all of these things and trying to address them on many levels, as well as looking at, do these symptoms that are presenting also have a downstream effect of further harm that they can cause, and looking at trying to address that as well. So looking, yes, upstream at the cause and contributing factors, as well as what this may now cause. Another principle we have is doctor as teacher. Of course, in Australia, we don't refer to ourselves as doctors, but this is the direct translation of the Latin from our principles. So the naturopath as a teacher. As a naturopath, I'm not particularly interested in you coming to me and me just listening to you and saying, here, take this, see you later. I'm interested in working alongside you as a guide or mentor or consultant, or however you like to look at it, but you are the CEO of your own body. And what I like to do is to gather all the research and knowledge and treatment options and further testing suggestions and all these things, and discuss them with you really thoroughly. My appointments famously take a little while, because I will give you the time to make sure that you understand what each test is showing us, what the things I prescribe will and won't do for you, what the dietary changes are and why I'm suggesting it, not just that I'm being, random diets for no particular therapeutic purpose. So really, I'm very, very motivated that you walk away knowing as much about your situation as I do. And also, I respect the fact that when people come to me with a health condition, they often know more about their specific health condition than I do, because they have lived experience and they've done their own research directly into that. So it's not a one-way street. I'm here to learn from you and your lived experience of your health. And I'm also here to educate and teach you as much as I know about your situation and what is affecting it, so that you are super empowered to make informed choices. And I'm totally respectful of whether your choices are surgical, pharmaceutical, natural, none of the above, spiritual, whatever. My job is to give you as much of the knowledge I have as possible to support you making that choice. Another principle of naturopathy is to treat the whole person. So I'm not just going to say, oh, you have high cholesterol, here's something to lower your cholesterol. I'm going to think about, how is stress impacting your cholesterol? What is the thyroid doing? Because we know that thyroid health impacts cholesterol. What is the digestion doing? Because digestion also has an impact on cholesterol. How is the cholesterol affecting the rest of your cardiometabolic health? Because it's not just a cholesterol issue, it's a broader concern. So I'm thinking about all of the interplay of all of the systems of your body, but I'm also thinking about, who are you as an individual? Because one person might say, give me everything, I have no budget, just test it all, give me all the supplements, let's deal with this. Someone else might feel really overwhelmed and say, hey, I can only do one supplement or one tiny diet change. I can't go at this pace. This is overwhelming. I've got too many other things on. And I respect both of those people equally, and I will think of you as a whole person, not just someone with a cholesterol issue. So it's looking at how you best adapt to change and to your health situation and all the interplaying biochemistry of that health, what your budget is, if you're under particular stress, how it fits in with other things going on in your life. So I'm trying as much as I can to get to know you and where you're at a bigger level. And also the principle of education and prevention. So I've talked a little bit about education already, and the other thing really is that I want to not only prevent things getting worse, prevent further things occurring as a result of what's happening, also to prevent other health issues occurring, and looking at you as a whole person, seeing not only what's going on for you now, but what potential risks for you as an individual are in the future based on your current diet lifestyle, your genetics, your family history, etc. So once again, those principles of naturopathy that I am very inspired to be guided by are: first, do no harm, the healing power of nature, find and treat the cause where possible, not just the symptoms, the doctor or naturopath as teacher, treat the whole person, and focus on education and prevention. So I'd love to hear what you take away from this, and if this has been your experience with your healthcare practitioners of any discipline. And if you like this approach, does it sit well with the way you like to deal with your own health? Looking forward to hear from you. Drop a comment wherever you see this content, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.